Macca's Reviews.
Hey guys, Macca here. Welcome to my quickie review / first impressions video for Super Time Force, available May 14th for the Xbox consoles. I did this review with VolitileGabe, so make sure you check out his channel. There's a link in the description. Let's just get started.
So one of the things that just instantly draws your attention towards the screen when playing this game is just the visual style and how flashy and sort of flamboyant the whole thing looks. What do you think about the graphics?
Yeah, I would agree. They're the whole 8-bit kind of older style, but it definitely fits the game and how fast-paced it is. I would definitely agree the graphics were good and very colorful, which is always great. And there's a lot of things moving on screen, but you can definitely tell what's what on screen, and there's never any confusion. Everything kind of stands out. And yeah, I definitely did not have any problems with the graphics at all. I really like them, actually.
And also just the way that each level varies from the one that you previously played. Just sometimes in games of this genre, it's sort of easy for them to just reuse certain assets from some, or not necessarily assets, whatever you call it when it's pixel art. But they'll use the same visual stuff, like a rock. They'll put that same rock in like every level. And here, the levels are just so varied that I don't think that happens too often. Yeah,
I would agree that for sure every world within the game is so unique, and you can really tell them apart really easily. Like as soon as you spawn, you know you're in a different setting. So the graphics were well done, and they really told the story that they wanted you to see in the game for sure. Yeah, and another thing I totally thought that fit well with the game and the way the graphics were done was definitely the music. You know, each kind of area has its own little soundtrack kind of theme going, and I thought the music was well done, not very repetitive at all, which is sometimes a problem. And yeah, I thought the music was well done and probably one of the better aspects of this game.
Yeah, for sure. There was times when I would be playing through a level and I would just kind of just hang out when there's not so much going on. I would just stop and just pay attention to the music for a little bit and kind of just jam out.
Even sometimes during some of the smaller cutscenes where you read the text on screen, there's music in the background. I thought that fit really well. The menu stuff, it all definitely clicked with the game.
Yeah, for sure.
So story-wise, this game's pretty crazy. From what I understood, I didn't pay too much attention to the story, but you are part of this Super Time Force, which is a group of people who are, I believe, traveling amongst different times, like the future and the past. You'll go as far back as dinosaurs and as far in the future as like the year 3000. And from what I understand, you're trying to alter the universe and time so that things stay the way they're supposed to. And I think Dr. Infinity is like the main villain's name. I think he's trying to screw you up kind of and alter the universe. That's as much as I understood. It's a pretty crazy story, and I don't know what you took out of it.
Honestly, you got the basics of it. A doctor, not the bad. You know, somebody discovers how to time travel. It just messes everything up. And then you're basically going around trying to either fix things or make things better. And that's basically all you need to know. It's not like this is super, you know, story-based or anything. You're just having fun going through different times and just, you know, shooting stuff, really.
And I would say that even like some of there's no voiceovers by any means. There's just text you can read. But I thought the text was pretty humorous. It adds to the story for sure. It's probably worth reading. And I thought it was a pretty hilarious game, as I think you would agree. Just some of the characters are crazy. Some of the things you do are crazy. And
the character names. Yeah,
even the character names are hilarious. And, you know, some of the crazy combinations of things you can do with all the different guys and then combining them.
Yeah. Absolutely. I'm just like, I'm remembering some of the dialogue, and it's actually still making me laugh right now, so that's definitely a positive sign, I think.
Yeah, and one thing I personally really liked was I felt like there was decent replayability. You know, there was leaderboards in the game. You can, you know, use friend filters and stuff like that to compete with your friends in certain levels. It does encourage you to kind of revisit levels with new characters that you might unlock and see if you can use some of those new characters on the older levels to do them faster or better. So I don't know how you felt, but I thought it was a very replayable game.
Yeah, and also you can go back and in case there's 3 shards, the purple ones in each level, so you can go collect those as well as the yellow ones. I forgot what those are called.
I think they're called glorbs.
Yeah, there you go. But there's 10 of those in each level, so you're definitely encouraged to go back and play a level again, even though you've already done so, and go about it a different way.
Yeah, and some of those globes are definitely a lot easier if you have unlocked certain characters in certain levels. You're probably not going to be able to get all of them on your first run through the game. So yeah, there is definitely incentive to go back and get those collectibles, earn some of those achievements that are in the game, and yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So moving on to some of the, I guess, not so great things. I don't know about you, I felt that the controls were a tiny bit clunky. Based on what I was assuming the game would have, I thought it was going to be like a little bit of a dual stick shooter, but it's not quite that. One of my main problems, at least when trying to go with the controls, was that you can't shoot diagonally without moving your character in that direction, and you're going to be shooting by default with X. So I don't know, for me it felt a little weird because if you want to shoot diagonally, you kind of have to jump into the character, and sometimes there were some difficult shots, but as you know this, definitely dying is encouraged, and that it does make you die more often, but that can be helpful.
Yeah, and clunky wouldn't be the word that I would use, because it feels good. It's super responsive, and you know, there's no input lag or anything like that. It's just that you're right, sometimes you're not necessarily trying to jump, and it's making you jump because you do need to shoot at a certain angle that's not possible just by standing still. So I think it would have been nice if you would have been able to control the angle of wherever you're going to shoot with the right stick, like you had said.
Right.
And yeah, maybe that could have made things a little bit better.
And I also think that maybe because I had some of these problems with the controls, it also let me die, which will make you respawn a little earlier in the level using the whole time thing. And that might make you pick a different character. And there are some characters who are like a melee character, or you can lob a bullet, like a grenade. And, you know, it does encourage you to try new tactics, which is always good.
Even though it's sort of a negative thing, it can also be seen as kind of a positive thing, because it messes you up and you die, and you didn't necessarily want to die there. But you go back a few seconds, you have a different character, and you know it eventually works out. It's not like it's gonna stop you from progressing at any time, really. But I can see how the controls could have been a little bit better managed.
Yeah. And even rewinding sometimes can give you an advantage, because it'll show certain objects in the world that are only visible while rewinding, and then you can actually shoot those kind of power-ups to help you out. So you know, dying is definitely encouraged. I just wish I could have controlled my dying a little bit better than I was able to.
And now that you're talking about dying and rewinding, I guess it's kind of a good time to bring up the death loop. It hasn't happened too often, and every time it happens, you can get out of it if you go back far enough. But sometimes you don't really want to go back all that far.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say which boss, but in one of the bosses, I was stuck in a constant death loop because one of the attacks took up half the screen, and you do something to time them. And they were both going on at the same time, and there was just no way. I tried and tried to respawn.
I think I had the same problem. I think a lot of people might even have the same problem that we both had, but it was literally an explosion that was taking up the whole screen, and there's nothing you can really do unless you just rewind.
Yeah, so that's basically it. But still, I mean, when you do rewind, it makes things easier because you have that other you doing all those shots that you did, and it worked.
I mean, so as far as my recommendations, personally, maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll have a few different things to say. You know, I thought the game was unique. I thought it did things well, for sure. I think it's definitely worth experiencing for those people who might be a little dry in the gaming area right now. They don't have anything to play. It's going to be coming in at a decent price on the Xbox One and Xbox 360. I think it's worth picking up because it is unique. But, you know, those people who are maybe looking for like a great reason to pick up this game and they're not really into it, I don't know if there's enough that this game does to really convince them to have to go out and buy this game immediately. But I think those that are definitely interested in it, I don't see a reason they wouldn't enjoy it. And, you know, there's a lot of gameplay and trailers and obviously this review that can help you decide that about whether this game's for you. But I definitely think it's worth trying.
And I think I like the game a little bit more than you. I think everybody, well, not everybody, but if you just think it looks interesting, just if you think, hey, I might like that, just go ahead and give it a shot. I think you will like it. Because, like I said, the music is freaking, like, phenomenal. The graphics, it's very pleasing to look at. It's a funny game, and it has tons of replayability, like we were saying. And if you are around my age and you grew up with games like this is basically like Contra meets Braid.
Yeah, I definitely felt the Contra vibe from it as well.
Yeah, it's Contra and Braid. That's what it is, and it's super, super awesome. I'm just stoked to continue playing it even more, and that's basically it for me. Yeah, I think you should give it a chance. If you got the $15, there's not much else coming out right now, so.
I definitely know I'm going to go back to it and play it a little more later today and for the rest of the week. I have been enjoying it thoroughly.
All right.
Yeah. So that's the video, guys. Let me know what you thought in the comments down below. Don't forget to click that like button, and hopefully I'll see you next time. Peace.